friends, I'm Lisa. Being in the UK is completely different from being in China, but I don't really like focusing the different in living habits. I like things that can make me think. When I arrived in the UK, I was surprised that the British would help this indeed. Not only would they help open the door, they would also wait for people behind them. They would also do charity, donate money, and volunteer. Once I saw an old woman fainted on the road, and many people rushed to help her. Some put clothes under her head. Some held umbrellas to block the sun for her, and some gave her water. Someone called an ambulance. Ambulances in the UK are actually free. Many people may have heard why Chinese people are so indifferent, not helping Chinese people in need. And even if they help, they have to shoot a video first. This is a reason for this. When I was 16, I had a bicycle accident, injured my head and was bleeding. A bus stopped and many people came to help me. I still remember this and how kind everyone was. But I have never seen such a thing in China again. As for why Chinese people usually don't help others in this kind of situation, it is because once a college student helped an old man who had fallen over in the street. Afterwards, the old man said that it was the college student who had bumped into him, and then demanded money from him. The court only listened to the old man's one-side statement. This incident affected people's trust. So, from then on, everyone is afraid of helping people and bringing trouble to themselves. In the UK, I'm not afraid to help others. When I meet people who need help, I will help them, just like the British. This is what I learned from the British. The British also like to help animals. There are so many charity shops here, including those for animals rescue. I saw a comment from someone saying that they don't like the abuse of animals in China. I will tell you why this is. China's development is decades behind the West. For example, my mother-in-law was already learning violin when she was a teenager. But my mother, when she was a teenager, had no food to eat. When my husband was a child, he had candy, bananas, sofas, and toilet. When I was a child, it was necessary for me to have egg to eat. I ate my first banana when I was 12 years old. That's why my husband always say that's why my teeth are good, because I didn't have candy in childhood. What I mean is that China was very poor before. So people ate birds and animals due to poverty. But now many people in China love pets. When I was in China, many people kept cats and dogs and loved small animals very much. Some people even risked their life to intercept trucks loaded with dogs for the meat trade on the highway, and rescued a lot of dogs. There were so many people who specialized in taking in stray dogs. Of course, in some remote and backward area, there are still some people who don't treat small animals well. But more people now, they love animals and have pets. I had a dog. She is a girl. I took her from China to the UK. She died last year when she was 16. She is my love. I really miss her. I want to talk about insurance in the UK is free, and I met the best doctor in my life in the UK. It is surprising that the hospitals here do not want to make a profit. In China, you cannot see a doctor without money. You have to pay first. The doctors and nurses here are so nice. The first time I saw a GP, it was a very small room where only one patient or family member could be in the room, and the door was closed. This is not a case in China, where usually where only one doctor and countless patients in the room with no privacy. The first time I went to the city center hospital to have an
UNLTRA sound
examination for my thyroid gland. Wow, the doctor here actually introduced himself first and then described the result in detail. His voice was very gentle and his face was full of smiles. He was the doctor with the best attitude I have never seen. Later, my husband was hospitalized. I was in the impatient department every day, and I met doctors and nurses from different countries. They were always gentle to the patients and didn't yell at them. Their work was very hard, and the nurses had to do a lot of work. In China, the family members had to do everything. The nurses only had to check the wound and give IV drips. In China, the family members of the inpatients can stay overnight, but not in the UK. I was surprised that the patients could order meals and there were dietary precautions. My husband had surgery and was hospitalized for 18 days and chemotherapy for 6 months. He is now doing immunity therapy again. It has been more than a year. Those treatments are all free. Not only that, some of the things you need after surgery are also sent to your home free of charging. There are also many other things such as blood tests and CT scans, which are all free. This is really great. British hospitals give me the feeling that human life is more precious and they respect life more. Of course, he and most other British people pay for the NHS with tax, but the treatment and medicals are worth so much more than tax. When my husband's uncle passed away, I went to the hospital. I was particularly surprised at how the hospital treated the deceased. His uncle lay quiet in a very clean, comfortable and warm room, covered with a blanket. There were paintings and some beautiful decorations hung in the room. It was very quiet. There were also 2 doors outside the room that could not be opened from the outside. So outsiders could not enter without permission. In China, the dead are not treated with such dignity. Chinese graves are also terrible. Most of them are just a pile of earth. And if there are good graves, they are very expensive. Chinese people must be cremated after death, but British people can choose for themselves. I have seen many British people signed out for organ donation in order to help others. I did the same this year. For most Chinese people, they generally do not choose to donate organs because there is a saying in China that one cannot death without a completed corpse, which means that even after death, no body part can be missing. When my father died, he was cremated. When he left the home of cremation, his body was intact. But when he came back, it was inside an urn. I was really shocked at that time. Later, I thought that the human body is just a shell that carries the soul. If a person dies, the body will rot and become useless. If the dead body can help some people in need, I think it is a kind of happiness which is more meaningful than the dead body rotten in the soul. I have watched some documentaries, and the hospitals in Britain attach great importance and respects the bodies of donors. This is why I choose the signed body organ donation agreement. For me, I feel happier in the UK than in China. See you next time!